kabisa, and I can hear you.
Okay, so let's go.
Gusa the only thing nuko ntago turi kubona the image, it's a black screen.
Ah, my God, I don't know what's happening.
Okay, nta kibazo, reka tube turi kumva byibuze ijwi.
Yes.
Karibu karibu.
Thank you so much, Louise. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my views with listeners.
And congratulations on your new book.
Louise, this one is not. It's a sad book.
Uh,
Yeah, it's a very, very depressing book. And let me also suggest something.
mm-hmm.
Uh, I wrote this book because people kept asking me two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The first question was that who really, really runs Rwanda?
Mm-hmm.
And then the second question was, given that you worked with the president of Rwanda, Kagame, for 7 years,
Mm-hmm.
and he projects different personalities,
Mm-hmm.
who is the real Kagame?
Mm.
Okay, so this book is really about my 7 year work in that office.
Mm-hmm.
So my suggestion was that today, if you can allow me, to basically limit my, you'll find another opportunity to talk about the book. But today I wanted to basically to focus on my colleagues and friends who worked with me in that Kagame's office,
Mm-hmm.
who have since their lives have been destroyed since.
Mm-hmm.
So these are my workmates who died
Mm-hmm.
during their work and after and in exile, and some who died in exile, but they could not be buried back in Rwanda.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can allow me to talk about this for today,
Please do.
basically in a memory of these hard-working Rwandans
Please do.
who perished for working for their country.
Please do.
Yes. So let me start with a man. His name was Isaiah Kabera.
Mm-hmm.
I never knew him, but here is what happened. Here is what connected me to him.
Mm-hmm.
When I started working in Rwanda, they assigned me a house near the Urugwiro village, the president's office,
Mm-hmm.
so that basically I can work almost 24 hours whenever he needs me. So the house was very close. It's just a road that separated the Urugwiro village and my house.
Mm-hmm.
So after 1 week, after I was at work on 1 week, just 1 week, I discovered a shocking horror. The house that I was living in was a house in which Isaiah Kabera was killed,
Oh.
and he was a presidential advisor.
Mm.
Initially, to to President Bizimungu, and then, so he continued on, and then he perished. He was basically assassinated as he was entering the gate. So that is how I started my work in that place. Very soon I had to find other ways. I said, look, I'll be available 24 hours, but I'm not going to stay in that house. And one of the stories, as I later discovered, is this Kabera was a genocide survivor, a friend of Sezibera, the speaker, who fled to the U.S., the Speaker of Parliament at that time. So that is how I landed in that place. Okay, so next. So I worked for 2 years. I left because my advice was not being taken. So I said, that I serve no purpose here. Went back to South Africa, but then I came back. I was called back now to say, come and do what you're specialized to do. So altogether, I did 7 years, but it broken into 2 parts. The first part was 2000 to 2002, and then 2005 to 2010. That's when I served. Okay, so now in my next time when I served with no. In the first half, in the 2002 to 2000 to 2002, my deputy and my secretary. My deputy was Igete Rutera. Igete Rutera. And my secretary, and of course, because I was the principal private secretary to the president, these are also his secretaries and deputies. So we were serving. So then the secretary is Jean Kairangwa. Igete Rutera used to live in Canada, so he went back to serve. To serve the president. Jean Kairangwa used to be based in the U.S. in Washington. She was a secretary into the International Monetary Fund, and she was my friend. So when I went back, and we used to talk, and she said, Himbara, I'm really tired of being out here. I'm qualified. Find me work, and I return and I come home. So we were recruiting. That's the time that we were recruiting the entire. Because you see, when Bizimungu was removed, everybody was fired. So when I went in for in the inner office of the president, there was no one. I had to rebuild it from zero. So that's how Rotera came in, and then Jean Kairango, then she quit her job and came to work in Rwanda. Okay, so after my 2 years, and I went back to went back to South Africa. Then I was called back in 2005 to resume the work. I had found I found that Iget Rutera and Jean Kairangwa died mysteriously.
Mm.
They were killed mysteriously, and these cases were never investigated.
Hmm.
So they died while working in that office. So ubwo
Hmm.
rero twatangiriye kuri Kabera tugeze kuri Rutera noneho tugeze kuri Kairangwa babaye batatu.
Mhm.
Noneho rero when I left Rwanda, no, before I left Rwanda now for good, I watched my two friends, Captain Musekera.
Mhm.
Captain Musekera. Give me a second. Give me Musekera. Okay, so when I returned, in one meeting, these two men, Kalisa Mupende, was uh, the director of finance in the office of the president, but he was also the chairman of the Rwanda Development Bank
Mhm.
and the CEO of Rwanda Development Bank, working with Kalisa, was a gentleman called Theogene Turatsinze.
Mhm.
So Kalisa Mupende, Captain Musekera, Kalisa died in a prison. Captain Musekera was basically sacked and thrown into the village.
Mm.
And Theogene Turatsinze died in Mozambique. He had fled to Mozambique. There, the case of Kalisa and Musekera touched me very hard for one reason. When I was still there, they were called in one morning to meet the president, and they were asked to explain where they bought the curtains, the office curtains,
Hmm.
and all the senior staff were called to attend this meeting. So they were asked where they bought the curtains of the president's office. So they mentioned the shop. President said, "No, you're lying. I know it. You better say where you bought these curtains."
Hmm.
They said they insisted that they repeated why they bought the curtains, but he refused.
Hmm.
So he ordered his soldiers to bring sticks, branches, to cut branches of trees, and to cane these men in front of us. He ordered them to lie down, face down.
How old is this was this person?
Karisa Mupende was younger than me, so he would have been in at the time in the 40s.
So this is a grown man who probably is married and have children?
Of course, Musekerawe was a captain, was an older man. It was, I would say he was about my age.
And Kagame does like how they used to do us to children, go and bring a stick so we can beat you. He sends people to bring something to beat his own staff.
So he beat them. Then he ordered them to stand up. Uh, then when they stood up, both collapsed.
Oh my God.
So I said, with an emergency, I said, please, we must call emergency. Then I said, I was ordered, sit down or you're the next.
Mm, mm,
I sat
mm.
down and I was crying like a baby.
Mm,
So later on, when I had left Rwanda, I shared this story with New York Times and they published this article. Uh, so after I shared this story with the New York Times, the New York Times interviewed Kagame and published the interview. And they had asked me if it was okay if they could challenge him on my story, and
mhm.
then they did. So you must look for this article called the Global Elite's Favorite Strong Man, New York Times.
The what?
The Global Elite Abachile,
Mhm.
the Global Elite's Favorite Strong Man,
Hmm.
a favorite dictator of the powers that be.
Mhm.
So
New
that
York
article,
Times. I
yeah.
see it.
Okay, so when they asked, he said, then they asked him, said Himbara said you beat up these two men. Is this true?
Mm,
He did not deny it.
mm,
He said he pushed them.
hmm,
So please read that article.
mm,
So then after that, Mupende was thrown into prison. He was thrown into prison while I was still there in 9009. 2009. He died in prison.
mm.
He died in prison. So now the CEO of the bank, you see that bank is the one that it's a government bank that they use to steal money. So Tujen Turatsinze was the CEO, so they tracked him down in Mozambique, and then they killed him. If you trace down the 2012 U.S. State Department's annual human rights report on Rwanda, uh, Theogen Turatsinze will show up, and this case was never investigated. He was drowned in the sea. They found him. His arms were tied behind his back.
Mm.
Okay, so then moving on. This is another one that hit me hard. Emmanuel Gasakure was President Kagame's doctor.
Mhm.
He had been a professional in France who had his own clinic and was a university professor. And he is a cardiologist. But he decided that he wanted to go back to Rwanda and help to build it. At first, he ran the University of Rwanda, but then Kagame decided that he should come and be his personal physician, even though Rwanda did not even have a cardiologist.
Mhm. But how does he convince all these people to
Hold
go
on,
back
please.
to
Hold
Rwanda?
on.
Mm.
Hold on. So Emmanuel Gasakure and I worked together because you see, I was the chief advisor and he was the medical person. So Kagame would not go anywhere without either of us. Overseas, up country, everywhere. We had to be there. And we shared our thoughts. And both of us could see that things were headed in the wrong way, especially foreign aid that was ending up in Kagame's wife, Mrs. Kagame's wife foundation, Imbuto Foundation. We were nervous about that. It was serious corruption. So after I fled, a few years later, Gasakure died in the police station in Kigali. Are you there?
I'm here. No milk.
Gasakure, the brilliant, funny, humorous, beautiful man.
Mm.
We shared so much because even whenever we went overseas, because Kagame would stay in a room that costs $25,000 a night, but and we had to be in the same hotel, but we didn't have such money. So most of us, like about 10 of us, would share a room
Mm.
because our per diem would not afford. We wouldn't afford one room. So we spoke through the night. We were like brothers.
Mm.
Gasakure died in the police station in Kigali.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Now, then this is the now, of course, you know that my brother-in-law Frank Rusagara, who was a general, he was a Secretary General of the Ministry of Defense, so he was directly under Kagame.
Mm.
After 13 years, he died in prison,
Pore sana, pore sana.
and he had 10 more years to go.
Mm.
And all he was accused of was that he said that the regime was not delivering anything, and
Is
he
he the
called
one
it.
who said, your book, Our Man is Finished? Is he the one who had initially said, Our Man is finished?
Yes, yeah, that book is in his memory.
Mm-hmm.
He is the one who said our man is finished, and he called Rwanda a banana republic.
Mm. Mm.
And he was quoted by the people he was conversing with, and he did not deny it. He said, "I said it." See, Rusagara also he was at first Kagame punished him by sending him away by demoting him as a defense attaché in UK.
Mhm.
Defense attaché is just, it's a common thing. A general, you don't make a general. But anyway, he served, and with his 5 children and my sister, Christine. So Kagame recorded Usagara.
Mm.
When he recorded Usagara, my sister said, "No way, I'm not going back to Rwanda. I'm staying in the
Mhm.
UK and my children.
Mm.
If you want to
Mm.
go alone, go."
Mm.
Okay, so now listen to this, dear fiancé.
Mm. If you go back to Rwanda, you are also going alone. I'm with your sister on this one.
So, listen to this, my dear. So in 2016, Christine became seriously sick, ill.
Mm.
As she was lay dying, waiting for the last breath, Kagame would not let Frank Rusagara call his wife to say goodbye.
Mm.
Christine passed away without saying goodbye to the husband who was in prison.
Mm.
Urabyumva?
Mm.
Next,
So he was denied a simple phone call to his dying wife.
yeah, even say goodbye.
Mm.
So Rusagara now he just passed away.
So now the children are orphans.
Yes. So now continuing the story.
Mm.
So one brother of mine called Tarasis Shamakochira,
Mhm.
he used to work for RPF Secretariat, and then he became a member of parliament for RPF, and then he also became a member of African Parliament. It meets in South Africa, outside Johannesburg.
Mhm.
I think they spend a month there as an Africa Parliament from all over Africa. So when my brother came to attend the Parliament, and I was still in South Africa, so he came to visit me, and then I fetched him and then dropped him back at the hotel. Then his colleagues saw us, Rwandan parliamentarians saw us. So when they went back, they reported back to Kagame that my brother Tarsis visited an enemy of Rwanda.
Mm.
So Kagame called Tarsis to answer for why he met Rwandan enemy. And then my brother said, no, 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 no. My brother is not an enemy of Rwanda. My brother had a disagreement with you about work, and he came to work here twice.
Hmm.
And he told him, my family from Queen Kanjogera's time in 18 1996, when Kanjogera and her brothers assassinated the King Rutarinwa.
Mhm.
My great grandfather Nzigie was fighting against them in defense of King Rutarinwa.
Hmm.
The Kanjogeras wanted to put his 9-year-old son to be the king.
Mm.
So then my brother said, "We are fighters. We love Rwanda since Nzigie."
Hmm.
And it so happens that Queen Kanjogera is a great grand aunt of Kagame.
Mhm.
So, so, so my brother was fired from Parliament, and then he fell sick, and we all, wherever we were, we quickly raised funds to hire aircraft ambulance to fly him to Nairobi for emergency. He was denied permission to leave Rwanda,
Mm.
and he died.
Mm.
Permission denied with aircraft right there, right, ready to evacuate him. My beautiful brother, elder brother, who used to tease me so much, he was much older than me. Very fond memories. He died.
Mm.
Of course, my younger brother Tom Yabagamba, who was Kagame's security detail since the war, throughout until 20, I think 12. He had served Kagame since 1990. Can you imagine 1990?
How old was he when he first joined the RPF and started serving Kagame? Because he looked so young.
Oh, he has an interesting story.
Mm.
You see, before the RPF invaded, there were some youngsters who invaded Rwanda on their own
Mhm.
because they thought that their elders would never do it because they were
Mm.
cowards.
Mm.
So they were the RPF went to hunt down, hunted them down and brought them back. One of them was Tom. one, one of one of
So he was
the
in Hotanyi before the Hotanyi.
absolutely.
Hmm.
This is just a boy. Tom is late 60s, early 70s
Hmm.
kind of boy. He's a youngster.
So he was even more braver than Kagame, who has never been fighting. For him to have the bravery to go before
No,
anybody.
the Toms invaded even before Guijema himself.
Wow.
So they were brought back. So he's now rotting, of course, in jail. So now in terms of other people that I worked with that have perished. So I mentioned three businessmen, three Baturujugiro,
Mm.
was Kagame advisor. He was among the. He's really these are the people who financed the war. They were the ones who financed the RPF fight. Harimo na Asina Paul Rwigara na
Hmm.
Kaje Guhakwa. Na Kaje
Mm.
Guhakwa. Kaje
Mm.
Guhakwa. Yeah. Kaje Guhakwa. And Nimiko Rwaitare.
Mm-hmm.
These were already billionaires, but outside Rwanda. Except Rwigara and Kaje Guhakwa. These were the internal ones. They were rich even during Habyarimana's regime, even though they were Tutsi.
Mm.
They were very well to do.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Rwigara was manufacturing. Kaje Guhakwa made his money mainly in petrol and banking.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, Rwigara, as you know, died mysteriously. He was very close to Kagame, and and to us in helping us how we're building the private sector. So he died mysteriously. Kaja Guhakwa fled to U.S. Tribut fled back to South Africa and Dubai, and Rwaitare. So Tribut and Rwaitare, they died overseas in exile, and their businesses had been taken over by Kagame. Tribut lost his $20 million shopping mall in Kigali.
Mm.
So Tribut Rujugiro and Mikor Waitani, when they died of overseas, Kagame would not even let their bodies be brought back for burial. So they were buried overseas.
Hmm.
Guigara died in mysterious auto accident. Kaja Guakwa fled to the US. His son, their businesses were captured, but they were promised that they would be returned, and that the government would no longer harass him. He goes back, and the businesses were seized again, and the man is dying in poverty in Rwanda.
Hmm.
So now I conclude the death of the people that were close to me, and we worked together in building that country and that office. The most unusual involves a family of Mupende family, not Karesa Mupende.
Mm.
It's another Mupende.
Mm-hmm.
So Mupende uh, is a translator, French,
Mm-hmm.
in the office of the president. His name is Alex Mupende. He was
Mm-hmm.
he, uh, Alex Mupende was actually my primary school teacher in refugee camps. He had graduated from Makerere, so he's a learned gentleman. So he's still, as far as I know, he's still the translator for the president's office, for the President Kagame's office, from French into English and vice versa. So Mupende make has had this beautiful daughter, the firstborn,
Mhm.
called Alexia Mupende. She was a model, fashion model. She was an actor, film actress, and globally known, world renowned. She was a star. So Alexia Mupende was engaged to soon be married in a matter of months, if not just 1 or 2 months. Was going to marry to a gentleman called Bertrand Ndenje Ngoma.
Mm. This is the young man
Hold on,
who.
hold on, hold on, hold on. So they are preparing for the wedding, beautiful wedding. Then one morning, Mupende, the father, mother, received an urgent call to come home because Alexia was in trouble, was failing to breathe.
Mm.
So they rush. They find Alexia dead. Within a month or so, Bertrand Ndenje Ngoma announced his coming wedding to Ange Kagame, the daughter of President Kagame. And they soon married and lived happily ever after.
I don't know about the happily ever after part. You think
So
they're
my
happy?
so my dear fiance, so listen to me.
Mm.
As I explained, let this session today just we stay here. We deal with remember these beautiful people who died serving not a dictator. Even me, I was not serving a dictator. I went to serve my country.
Mhm.
So I managed to stay alive. My traumas, my own problems, the poisoning, and la la la. We leave that aside for another moment.
Mhm.
When we look back deep into the book,
Mhm.
I just wanted this day for us to remember these beautiful heroes
Mhm.
who worked so hard and paid the heaviest price,
Mm.
the price of their own blood. So, with that, share with me one moment of silence and you just let me quietly go.
Mhm.
So, we'll speak. It's up to you, arrange for the continuation of the book on the next time.
Mhm.
So, let's share one moment and then I go. Thank you so much, dear Tiancy.
Fiance, thank you very much. So let's take 1 minute of silence, and then can you please also say something in Kinyarwanda for the Kinyarwanda audience?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Reka dufate iyo 1 minute and then we'll move into Kinyarwanda for a minute. Imana, 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 Imana. Imana yakire abo bose. Turashimira David waje kutuganiriza uyu munsi. Reka mbe mute